So today we're going to discuss at least the 7 to 8 things you need to know or keep in mind while you're driving. Logs are important, guys. Logs will keep you out of trouble if you ever, God forbid, get into an accident or you get pulled over by the cops and they run your ELD. You already know they're going to ask you for your ELD. You got to send it in and they're going to check it. That can make you or break you because they're going to inspect your truck right then and there. You need to make sure you have your day logs booked too. Keep that in mind. It's just a little side note. But they're going to inspect your truck right then and there. And they're going to, them logs will make you or break you. They'll take points off of your CDL and get you a ticket if it's not right. So always be logging in your pre-trips. You need to be at least more than 10 minutes on your pre-trips. You need to be on off duty in the beginning. That's what Prime lets us know. Off duty in the beginning of the day. You can start, and then at the end of the day, you can be on duty. Because you have to be off and on duty when you do your pre-trips. So log those in. Log your pre-trips in. Make sure you're in drive mode. Make sure you put yourself in sleeper berth. And those things can get changed by your logs division in your company if you have that. But if you're doing it yourself, just make sure you're on top of that. Speed limits. Speed limits sneak up on you. Like, I'm not going to say on a highway all the time because you should really be knowing if you can do 65, 55, 70. You know, when you get to Texas, that speed limit gets up to 80. When you get to California, for trucks, speed limit is 55 miles per hour. So you need to keep a lookout on that. When you're in the back roads and you're going through those little towns, they sneak up on you. It'll go from 55 to 45 to 35 to 25, and then it'll go back up. You need to be on that because we all know state troopers like to get us. They love to catch you in the middle of the city, like in the middle of those towns, especially when that speed limit drops down to 25 for like those 2 minutes. You need to be on it and making sure that you are looking at your speed limit. Curves. If you're in a major company, they monitor your truck. Everything you do in the truck, when you back up, when you pull forward, when you drive, when you go into curves. I don't care if the speed limit for the curve is 45. Be at 30. Be at 35. Be at 40. Be lower than the speed limit when you're going into the curves. First of all, it's a stability. Keep the stability of your truck because we all know if you get a rollover, your trucking career is over. You might as well stretch your CDL because a rollover is crazy. So when you're going into these curves, be careful, go in slow, take your time, and things will work out for you. 4, pre-trip. I know I always say this. You need to be doing your pre-trip beginning and end. Majority of the beginning of time, when you stop at some gas stations, pop that hood open, see what you got going on. You need to make sure you have some window washer fluid. The bugs, the snow, especially in the snow, because we all know that the salt on the ground gets onto your windshield and like it will really stop you from seeing. You won't be able to see for a minute. So make sure you keep that windshield wiper fluid going. You need to check your coolant levels. You need to check if you have any fuel in your trailer. Seriously. Check that kingpin. Make sure that your locking gear, make sure it's in your release handle, it's locked up on that kingpin. We don't have no time for none of this. You need to make sure that you are checking. Sorry, I wrote it down a little bit. That what I want to make sure you guys have: your coolant level, your windshield wiper fluid, the landing gear, your kingpin, your glad hands. Seriously, check your glad hands. Make sure there's no wear and tear on them. Make sure that when you're connecting your lines, you don't have any problems with them for your trailer. Make sure that your air lines have no leaks. You need to take the headset off and listen for a second. And make sure there's no leaks coming out of there. You know what I'm saying? Make sure. 5, you need to be proactive. You need to be like 5 miles ahead when you're driving your truck. You should know if someone's about to cross the street. You should know, you should see them before you even pulling up on them. You should know if someone's going 45 miles an hour and you're going 65, so you're going to need to get into the left lane and then back into the right so that you can signal ahead. You should know if someone's broken down on the side of the road so you can also get over. You should know. You should know because you should be 5 miles ahead. You should be looking ahead of yourself. You should be proactive. You should know because you're looking around that this car is about to cut in front of you before they even know they're about to cut in front of you without a signal. You should know that stuff because you can tell. You can see above everything, and you know the weirdness people have on the road, especially small cars. No offense to small cars, but y'all be so weird sometimes. Be proactive on the road. Gas stations, gas. You need to be proactive with gas. I'm so serious, especially when you're like doing these back roads, mountains, things like that, where you only have 150 miles in your tank and the next gas station is not for 300 miles. That's something you need to know. Another thing you're gonna have to be able to remember is when you're going into California, gas is $5, and you just came from Arizona or Oklahoma where gas was $3.79, and you decided I'm gonna just wait until I get close to, because I have enough gas to get to California. No, fill up, get enough gas so you can make it out of California, so you can fill up. If that's something that you really have to look out for because they take that out your check, or they make you pay a little bit of that gas and you don't have a surcharge, you need to make sure you're on your gas. And like I said, you don't want to break down in the middle of nowhere because you forgot to check where the gas stations are and you don't have enough gas to make it to the next one. I've never been there. I've never done that because I be making sure. But I have gotten into California like, dang, gas is $5 here, and I could have gotten it for $3.89 if I would have just stopped earlier when I looked at that gas and was like, ooh, that's a good price. Stop. Make sure you're planning ahead for that gas. Being proactive once again. Now this is something, it's a little like leeway on it, but give your brakes a break. Use your jack brake. Don't be afraid to turn your engine brake on. Your engine brake, it will be your best friend. It can slow you down faster, and you don't have to keep pushing on your brakes, which you're gonna have to keep changing if you keep pushing on your brakes. I have had to change my brakes maybe one time for each of my trucks. I've had a Freightliner and I've had an International, and yeah, I've only had to change it one time. I'm not going some wood, but I've only had to change my brakes one time. And that was because when I got my truck for that International, they didn't handle them brakes before, so it was not even my fault for that time. But in the beginning, my first year, yeah, I kept pressing my brakes. I kept wearing down my brakes. Use your engine brake. Don't be afraid. I know the noise gets annoying after a while, but after a while of driving, you'll get used to it. Especially on the mountains, you know you're gonna need that engine brake. It slows, it goes to your engine. It stops your engine. It doesn't wear on your brakes. So remember your jack brake. Guys, those are the 7 things I feel like you should keep in mind when you're driving. I will see you guys on Saturday when I drop the vlog. See you later.